overinflating their importance. Colonel Ralph Peters begs to disagree. Colonel, what did you make of that?
Well, first of all, I have to ask you something, Neil. I don't have to sing to you, do I?
Yes, you do, Colonel, but that comes a little later in this conversation. But what did you make of this?
Well, you know, you have really in that interview two separate but related issues. One, President Obama's distaste for a free media. The media was just supposed to adore him, and that was that. The other issue was sort of his weak-loined dismay that Islamist terror didn't just go away after he displayed public empathy with Islam. And it just seems like he is looking around for someone to blame, that he just cannot accept responsibility like a grown man. Look, you know, it's not the fault of Fox News that Islamic State and other terrorist organizations have ruptured and ravaged nearly the entire Middle East. And by the way, it may not be what Susan Rice is now dismissing as not an existential threat, but gosh, if you're a minority, a Christian, a Yazidi, or a Muslim who doesn't toe the line, if you're a Jordanian pilot, if you're a Western hostage, it's pretty existential over there right now. I mean, the idea that we can just do enough to get Obama through his next 2 years until he's out of office is very, very, very dangerous, because this threat, despite administration protestations that they're winning, this threat is growing larger by the day. Oh, and by the way, you've also got our friend Vladimir Putin in Ukraine making a hash of Europe's post-World War II peace.
But, you know, you mentioned Susan Rice and the president, and they say in this 22-page, I guess, position paper on our security agenda, that America leads from a position of strength, but this does not mean we can or should attempt to dictate the trajectory of all unfolding events in the world. That as powerful as we are and will remain, our resources and influence are not infinite. What'd you make of that?
Well, that's another of the president's love of false dichotomies. It's just as he said, well, implied that the only alternative to using air power is hundreds of thousands of boots in the ground. Well, he's saying, well, you know, these choices are all false choices, and we can't use the military all the time. Well, but sometimes you do. I mean, not every problem has a military solution. Some only have a military solution in the real world. But that national security strategy that Susan Rice presented at the pep rally at Brookings last Thursday or Friday, was not a security strategy in any sense of the word. It was a polemic document pandering to disconnected constituencies, from minority communities to climate change junkies. And by the way, I'm a conservative for conservation, but that national security document is supposed to be dealing with real and present danger and long-term physical threats, not hypotheticals. And so it was just it was just more self-praise. It was another self-love orgy, a self-adoring orgy at Brookings, and it did not advance. It did, yeah, and that's an ugly thought. The visuals are horrible.
Yeah, it is.
But truly, the president is still politicking.
Okay.
He's still running for election. I wish in his last 2 years he'd just shut up and lead.
Colonel, it's always good talking. I'm going to put you down as a maybe on the president in the meantime. Ralph Peters, thank you very, very much.
I didn't get to sing.
No, you did not. Maybe next time.
Next time.
Because I know you have a good voice.